because of his feints, his fake outs, and also just his general keeping of the tempo for the match. You know, you're not playing against Pac-Man, you're playing against Sinji.
Right.
So, you know, for Arhungry to get over that hurdle, you know, it'll be something that he'll have to constantly be fighting the entire time of the match.
Here we go. Looks like we're going to start off the match for real now. Sinji going ahead and dropping that fire hydrant, spacing himself out, trying to get those fruit. Really wants to start off a little bit of space gameplay with his projectiles.
Yeah, and this final destination pick concerns me only a little bit for Arhungry because he won't have that much of a breath when it comes to landing. You know, he's going to have to land below, you know, when Sinji's throwing all his things out, Arhungry's going to have no ability to jump on a platform and get a little bit of a respite.
And that's how this stage has been historically for projectile characters. Generally, you don't want to go here if you're scared of trying to traverse the horizontal plane. You do a very good job of holding it down, but we're seeing Arhungry is actually doing a very good job of keeping the oppression going on Sinji.
And that is the second time the instant pin gets rid of the hydrant, and Arhungry is using the disjoints of Corrin so well to get these tippers right on the hydrant and just invalidating the hydrant's presence completely in the matchup.
There we go. Sinji's going to have to try and get to the stage here. He's going to get off the edge with a forward air, but gets caught by the up air right after. So now he's struggling once again to get down and go ahead and grab some fruit, but hasn't been able to find much of anything here. Wait.
Ooh, wow, that bell does last a long time. I mean, it's been 3.5 years, but it still spooks some people. But by the same token, it is a double-edged sword for this stage because Sinji also has a little bit of trouble landing as well, especially trying to land on a character like Corrin with up smash, up air, and even her Nair being such a threat.
Right. And now, you know, despite what seemed like a very strong start from Arhungry, Sinji's going to be able to find the first KO,
Very
landing
textbook
the bell.
confirm, and you can always see how Sinji's so comfortable with his item manipulation, Z-dropping, you know, just grabbing any item he wants in the air and keeping it until when he needs it most. So congrats on Sinji for that first stop.
Uses the trampoline, somehow narrowly avoids all these hitboxes, and you even see the counter coming out on the hydrant. Arhungry trying to make great use of that, but the pin will do it.
Yeah, and that counter could be dangerous, especially when hydrant is coming down. If Sinji is not being careful when he's landing on Arhungry, that could prove to be an early stock. But I think Sinji's familiar with this matchup more than most would be.
Actually, there it is once again.
There it is. Yeah, I would argue that Corrin's kit just like very organically counters a lot of what Pac-Man is doing with Hydrant. Sinji will have to take note of that as he adapts his play, but you know, we definitely see both of these players toe-to-toe right now with sub 50% for both.
He's going to throw the apple. It's not going to quite find the mark, but he's able to get that dash attack and set up shop once again, and this time spacing himself very... It's a weird distance. He's like almost just outside of the pin range, so he won't get hit by the hydrant, but in the same vein, he's still keeping himself close enough where he's able to punish whatever Arhungry tries to do afterward.
Yeah, the spacing on Sinji's part is immaculate, only because he knows that if he's in that instant pin range, it could mean an early death, but keeping hydrant and fruit always active is playing to his advantage pretty well here.
Finally keeping it down to a point where it is still pretty much anyone's game. Sinji can go ahead and grab that bell. Once again, that is how he was able to get his first kill confirmed. So maybe he's looking to repeat some of the same history, but Arhungry not trying to allow that to happen.
Yeah, and I think, Flambeau, we're seeing a lot of setup, you know, breakdown here on Arhungry's part, you know, with Pac-Man having such situational kill confirms versus Corrin's, where sometimes it's just a pin, but Sinji takes him off the edge and actually ends up gimping him with 3 forward airs coming out of nowhere. Pac-Man having a forward air that many wouldn't even consider threatening. Sometimes the momentum shift in the game can just
look at that.
Just shift so suddenly.
Deuces. Man.
Sometimes it be like that.
It really do. And we even saw Sinji's face immediately after getting that gimp. He was cheesing the most I've seen him cheese in a while. He was happy about that one. Got himself a quick, nice little find, a little snack, if you will.
The mark of a player of his caliber is denoted by being aware of situations like that and capitalizing on them so reflexively. You know, some players would have been, okay, Corrin off stage, I'm not messing with that, maybe giving her too much respect. But Sinji understood the boundaries of that dynamic and pushed them to actually take out Arhungry in a situation that many people would not even dare try.
And we're seeing it once again. Arhungry's gonna have to work his way through the battlefield.
And you know he's tilted now too.
Right, and he went back to Final Destination even, so.
Well, correction, I wouldn't say that he's tilted for sure, but you've got to take into account the sort of confidence evisceration that must have. When you're doing so well in a matchup, when you're doing so well in game one, you're winning neutral interactions just more than your opponent, only to have it end that way, you have to keep composure. And I think Arhungry's doing a good job, but it might be something that comes into play later if this were to repeat.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, because Arhungry, you know, despite that last interaction, that first game was really close up until that point. So I'm sure in his head right now he's thinking, all right, I did more or less everything I needed to do. Just need to keep myself together, maintain my composure, and I can grab this game too.
And Key's online now. We do see Arhungry beautifully taking care of Hydrants with the instant pin tipper, but he is online, and just the way Sinji is shuffling this with these Z-drops at edge, baiting a reaction from Arhungry. So frustrating to play against.
Wow, and just manages to get the poke right there, actually getting the first stock off Sinji. So Arhungry, you know, despite that entire battalion of keys coming at him, manages to find his first stock of this game.
Yeah, with Pac-Man having such a somewhat cumbersome hurt box with his shape, he unfortunately got clipped by that Instapin. Characters that might have had a thinner frame, such as Sheik, might have escaped that, but we saw Arhungry quickly take that stock, and we're looking at potentially Sinji taking out Arhungry's first stock in the second game.
Okay, doesn't get punished for that kind of awkward trampoline. Maybe was trying to catch Arhungry in the air with that, but unfortunately didn't find the mark. But still, he has to slowly whittle his way down. We find this happens a lot, but he mistimes the counter and
Countered
almost dies
prematurely, and Hydrant's just slow bouncing speed caught Arhungry off guard. He accidentally countered too early there. But we do see fruits flying, apples to apples. Sinji potentially taking this first stock, and
ooh, almost gets clipped, but the Nair will finally close it out. Only taking 20% as well.
Yeah, the invincibility on Corrin's up B being, you know, pivotal in that situation, being able to act against the Hydrant and recovering well, but again, we're at an even stock situation. Both players sub 50%.
Sinji once again trying to read the movement of Arhungry with these jump fairs, looking for something, if anything at all, but unfortunately doesn't find too much. And now we're seeing Arhungry once again. We've seen this actually a lot in terms of who seems to have the advantage state first. It always seems like Arhungry is racking up that damage a little bit quicker than Sinji is, but as the tail has happened to play out before, Sinji has been able to climb back.
Yeah, we can't discount Sinji. This last game featured a similar dynamic with Arhungry winning most of the neutral interactions and one key mistake leading to his own defeat. So we'll see if that'll replay or if he's going to take it a little slower this time. With Hydrants flying at him, we do have Galaga online, so we are going to have that loop. Z-drops coming in on Hydrant, Arhungry on the defensive, Sinji on the offensive, now off stage. Orange is online. Hydrant gets countered by that up B. That hitbox, again, invincibility proving crucial.
Here we go, just like game one, we see both of these players being at decently high percent, not at a point where they have to be super scared of a kill. Maybe for Corrin Tipper, you want to be scared as Pac-Man, but Pac-Man especially usually has to grind a little bit longer before he can really start setting up for those KOs. He was unable to find a conversion off of one of his fruits.
And we could see a situation here where Sinji is sort of conditioning Arhungry to pin his Hydrants, maybe looking for an opening elsewhere. And I believe we do have Bell online. It comes out, and an up air seals the deal for Sinji. We do have claps in the crowd. Pennsylvania rooting for their boy. Arhungry not going down without a fight. 1-1.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard situation for Sinji here. We see him trying to jump up, but a quick reaction with the jump up air is going to be able to cover that option from the ledge. Now, Sinji has to evaluate what he wants to do here as well, where he's going to take his opponent, how he's going to approach.
FD.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's gonna be FD again. You know, and just as a reminder to everyone who's spectating right now, the entire event is a best out of 5, so we're only in a 1-1 situation here, and both of those games, they weren't close to going to time, but they were lengthy.
Especially with Sinji. Sinji will not be afraid to time you out if he can.
Yeah, Sinji, of course, being known as one of the most patient and methodical players. He's in no rush to lose or take any stocks because he knows that he is setting the tempo, as I stated before the match, and we see it here playing out before us.
Especially when you are in a region where John Numbers resides, you kind of get used to having these lengthy games all the time. But this one,
Play to win.
whatever it takes, right? You have to have the gall, the mental fortitude to do whatever it...
The perseverance.
Exactly.
While some players may try to rush a situation or try to get it to come out earlier than it naturally would, players like Sinji, players like John Numbers, they wait for the opportunity to present themselves and then capitalize on them. They don't necessarily force them. They, of course, have setups and kill confirms, but at the same time, they're not in any rush because they know how tough it is to approach them.
He's going to be able to shield that one and charge a little bit of that. Has the Gallica online now. Going to use that trampoline out of shield as a perfect option to gain some space.
And that Z-drop not coming out early enough. The recovery frames on that downer by Corrin actually letting out earlier than Sinji's able to pull out anything.
And we actually saw right there from Arhungry tried to go for the instant pin into the kick, but actually got pushed just a little bit by the Hydra. It might have been an opportunity for Sinji to punish, but Sinji looks like he has quite the edge in the neutral game thus far.
Yeah, and third eye open on Sinji here. I mean, you're witnessing him not only using the hydrant as an obstacle, but as well as its water to push a lot of his projectiles. We saw that Bell set up earlier, going over the hydrant only to be pushed after by the...
Oh my god!
By the water, but of course, you know, Sinji edge guarding is just so class right here with that Z-drop on the apple, taking the first stock from Arhungry.
Yeah, oh my goodness, he tried to use that move that does not exist.
800 frame grab, not reaching its mark, being at the length, the full length of the grab. Of course, Sinji has persevered even with such a grab, but Arhungry still needs to watch out for potential setups that might involve it.
Right, now he's actually pushing forward quite a bit generally a lot of the times. You know, it's one of two ways. You get a lead and you either start playing a little bit more defensively, forcing your opponent to come to you. But we're actually seeing Sinji do a mix of both, running in, taking a hit, pot shot here or there, and then running back, taking his time.
Yeah, and we were talking about tilting earlier, and we are in a situation now where he is down a stock, so some players might feel the urge to try to rush the situation, to try to bait something out without it even having any reason to happen in the first place. So Arhungry's patience is definitely going to be tested right now.
Sinji pushing that fire hydrant away, takes the time to go and charge some fruit, uses it to try and cover the get-up option as well. He is looking very comfortable, but the
800 frame grab getting punished by Instapin.
No.
We did have the hydrant rolling, but it was not enough to cover Sinji from Arhungry's clutches.
There we go, some words of encouragement from the crowd, if you will.
And I do like Arhungry's use of pin, at least to not only counter hydrant, but some of the fruit and projectiles that Sinji's using. I mean, that's showing awareness.
He's definitely playing the matchup a lot better than most people would think someone would. Definitely doesn't appear to be alien to what he's doing at all.
Yeah, with 3.5 years of history, VODs, and even just set experience that Arhungry may possibly have had or even witnessed, you know, we know that Pac-Man doesn't have a linear strategy per se, but there are definitely tricks you need to watch out for.
Right. Now Sinji's looking in a pretty good position. Does have more or less most of the damage racked up. Almost gets that conversion off of that bell, but does not find it. But still, just
and that up air wouldn't have killed.
Yeah, you know, wouldn't have done anything.
Very weak up air, very weak forward air. But again, it's about utility and understanding the moveset, not only what kills. And we saw that game one where Sinji was able to clip him with those 3 forward airs.
Here it comes once again, the dash attack, gonna send him up, sets up for a juggle situation, gets hit by the hydrant, and Sinji gets to set up once again.
And that shallow angle with the jab was awesome.
Okay, manages to air dodge through, gets pushed up.
Downer taking him almost to the edge of the stage, but Sinji makes it back, starts the setup again with fruit. Orange is online, hydrant online as well. Insta-pinned away, and he perfect shields it, but Apple meets the mark diagonally and takes off Arhungry. That must be so frustrating. You can kind of tell in his face he knew that that was a situation where he wasn't necessarily baited into it, but the conditioning of which fruit's going to come out, when, and how, we see that Sinji always mixes it up.
And it's just, it's a timing thing, but it's also, like as you were saying before, right? Like it's what fruit is it going to be or what projectile. And even there, You know, you see him charge it, he runs away, shields. Charges it, runs away, shields. So he's like, okay, is he just not going to throw it? He tries to go for that understanding, and the moment he does, he gets clipped for it.
Yeah, but we do see a stage change here for Arhungry, so maybe he's more comfortable finally opting to go to Town and City as opposed to FD, which the entire set has been played on so far.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely about time for a change of scenery. FD definitely not working out for him. We even saw Sinji quite easily understood that, took him there immediately for the counter pick. So Arhungry's going to go ahead and try with some different scenery, see if he can figure out the answers.
Yeah, and this is now a Game 4 situation against Sinji, so you have to give it to Arhungry for persevering up to this point. You know, it's no easy feat going against a character that has a potential answer for anything you try to do, as well as continually escaping your grasp, as we see here.
Okay, gets a nice little Galaga conversion, doesn't find the back air, but gets some good damage and a punish with that dash attack as well. Sinji's once again setting up camp. Arhungry still trying to push forward, though he will persevere.
Yeah, and you see the adaptation here by Sinji, where most players on that whiffed pin would have gone for a grab. Sinji understands the limitations of his character and opted for a dash attack. So free damage, easy conversion, and those are the realities of playing Pac-Man pretty much.
Set up a slow hydrant into the grab.
Wow, that was big brain.
Yeah, right. I know. Sinji is just all about
perfect edge guarding, hitting with the reverse hit of up air into up tilt, big head on Pac-Man's part, but Arhungry returns with a really nice stun into the blast zone.
And it's crazy just how many setups I've seen Sinji throw out throughout his career in Smash 4 for getting these kill setups. He always has something that you just haven't seen yet before hidden in his bag of tricks.
And yeah, and just to highlight right there how nice that approach was with Galaga and the grab boxes of his throw, you had no choice but to hold shield, you know, and spot dodge. And as we saw Arhungry, he couldn't approach because of Galaga, and also the hitbox, the grab boxes, the grab stale for so long. Sinji's actually learned how to use grab in an advantageous way, which is just like incredible, really.
Something that I'm actually really liking from Sinji is that he notices that when Arhungry opts to go for these counters, he actually doesn't even try to overcommit and try to punish the whipped hitbox. He understands that corn can be very quickly actionable out of that move.
Yeah, quick one hit punch, 1-2 with forward air, nair, and then forward air, forward tilt. Sinji's definitely got Arhungry thinking about what he's going to do next. And again, with these lower ceilings, there is an advantage here for Arhungry's up air. It has staled a little bit, but we do see Sinji trying to shark Arhungry from beneath the stage with Bell, which I don't think I've seen.
He's gone for it a few times, but it's never quite hit. This time, though, he's going to go back to the ledge. He's understanding that if he tries to go high here, that up air, he's looking for it. And he definitely lost a game because of that up air. So he's being very careful with his tournament winner option.
Yeah, this could be the potential last game of the set. Sinji knows that, Arhungry knows that, and both players are playing very cautiously. No brave reads yet, but it could be what ends up breaking the set. And of course, Sinji using the water on the other side to bring Bell back to him. Arhungry knows that he has a bullet in the chamber with this Bell, but Arhungry gets the up throw to take the 4th game, and now a Game 5 situation, and this very stressful matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, Sinji could tell by the end of that game that it was already a difficult situation for him to be in. He was jumping and air dodging instantly a lot because he knew, all right, if I can bait him to do a jump up air or something like that, I can get a punish right there and maybe win the game off of that scenario. But we saw Arhungry was being very reluctant to throw those up airs out. So Sinji was like, crap, how do I force him to open up so I can get an opening? He tried to do something with his projectiles, didn't quite work out, and he got grabbed for it and up thrown.
Yeah, and expanding on that further, you know, it's one thing to sort of want to do something that's a part of your normal game plan, but it's another thing to change it up when you're presented with a matchup like Sinji, and conversely with a matchup like Corrin's by Arhungry. You know, both players are definitely tuning their own strategies to each other's habits, and we see it's now a 74% unanswered, of course, commentator's curse,
right
back where we all started on FD. So maybe Sinji was comfortable here the whole time. He likes it. He knows the absence of platforms will play to his benefit. But again, it's a double-edged sword in this case with Corrin being able to juggle Pac-Man for so long.
I see Sinji run away, try to get some fruit going once again, but the projectile game has not been working out for him thus far. Hasn't been able to get an opening on AR Hungry, and AR Hungry has been relentless with the oppression.
Yeah, this is a very different beginning of the game compared to the others in the set. Such a dominant performance from AR Hungry, but again, we cannot count out Sinji because he's always full of tricks and potentially one that could send AR Hungry into a situation that he's left helpless.
There we go, the pin kick. Not quite enough to kill Sinji quite yet, but now you see this positioning. He goes for the backer this time around. The pin kick again, a little bit stale. Still not going to kill, but it's just 9%. That's it.
Yeah, forward air coming out before Corrin's back air. We spoke about before in this matchup how Corrin's back air can be so oppressive at moments with just the ability to push back while at the same time throwing out a hitbox, which for Pac-Man is great. So we might be seeing more of that again, of course, as these edge guards continue. And AR Hungry takes the first stock, and the crowd starts to get lively since this would be the first upset as well as the first match of the tournament happening in this way.
And especially the way we saw AR Hungry get that kill confirmed, right? It was off of insta-pinning Sinji's own Hydrant. So he basically killed himself. I mean, not necessarily, right? He forced it onto him, but just the idea of using one of his own resources against him. So now Sinji's severely struggling, you know, has tacked on 50% now, which is different from the 9 that we had seen stuck on the screen for so long, but he really needs to figure it out.
And I don't believe this is the beginning of a 2-stock situation, but the percents are now even, and they're rather low, so AR Hungry's in a great spot to take this final game and take the entire set, unless Sinji has something to say about it.
And we see him throwing his Galaga in the wrong direction there. Definitely not what he wanted. He needs to go ahead and store up another one, maybe.
And with all the mental calculus that you know Sinji has to do, and just like getting Pac-Man to move how he does, you know, you could see signs of tearing with, you know, all this stress that's now mounting on him as this final game shows him at 59% to AR Hungry's 2 stocks.
If there's anything that I know is that it's never over until it's over. We have seen many a great comebacks happen in the history of Smash 4, and this game could potentially be one of those. We'll see if Sinji can bring it all the way back.
Yeah, throwing down Bell into a Nair. Great use on Sinji's part, but we do see the Bell getting used by AR Hungry, and we're now seeing a situation where Corrin has a lot of rage, and she has Instapin. So 75%, definitely kill percent.
Ooh, and Sinji's brave and go ahead and roll out of that one. Basically, it has AR Hungry at a point where he can probably start fishing for those KOs. Does have a decent amount of rage built up. Gonna get a back throw from Sinji right here. Set up for the edge guard. Get the slow Hydrant.
Slow Hydrant, perfect shielded by AR Hungry. Expert use of his defenses, but we finally have Sinji meeting his mark with the up smash after the Bell confirmed. That stun lasting for what seems years, and the crowd is now on their feet as they potentially might see the first upset of the tournament play out before them.
Yeah, but who knows? This is just one Japanese Vine away from being a tie game. We know the amount of things that Pac-Man can do to a character, but AR Hungry still doing an immaculate job of trying to shut that entire shebang down.
Yeah, Sinji off stage, AR Hungry off stage can be the end for either player, so we definitely see a promotion of patient play here now, as Sinji is now trying to get something started to Corrin's 42%. Headed into the hundreds now. Sinji may be in trouble soon from any sort of stray insta-pin that AR Hungry may throw out to catch his landing.
I like that up for the down throw no matter what. Just wants to put Sinji in the air and force him to either go to the ledge so he can guess. So he goes for the back air, and the up air is actually going to kill Sinji. So that means it's going to be our first upset of the day, the very first match of the day. AR Hungry is going to go ahead and win 3-2 over Sinji in what was a very close set, admittedly.
And we saw the evolution of AR Hungry's play, you know, with 5 games to have it all play out. You know, in many situations, a 2-3 or a 2 out of 3 in a pool match, you know, you don't have time to maybe understand the dynamics like unfolding before you. But, you know, with 5 games under his belt, you know, he was able to persevere and actually take the set, which congrats to AR Hungry. Pennsylvania showing up now.